Obviously, I've been following you online for a while, not like a stalker, but yeah, tell me a little bit about what you do.
Sure, yeah. So for the last 5 years, I've been in this online marketing game, running Facebook ads for multiple brands, very different niches, industries. Right now, I'm running my own ad agency called Adsora, where we help consumer brands grow and scale their revenue and profits. So we are a performance marketing agency. We do creative, we do media buying, mostly working with e-commerce, mobile apps, and newsletters. I also run my own newsletters. One of them is Growth Catalyst Club, which is a newsletter where every week I break down some of the best performing ad creatives, share some ad creative ideas. So yeah, I've been active on Twitter for last year, I guess, last 8 months,
Yeah,
LinkedIn and all the social media stuff. And now I also launched a YouTube channel a few weeks ago. So you can find me on YouTube under Andy Austin. Yeah, check out some great content about Facebook ads and marketing and yeah, creatives, copywriting. So if you want to run ads yourself, that's going to be very good content.
yeah, cool. Yeah, I noticed. I saw on your Twitter. I don't know if it was yesterday when I saw the video come up. It was a video of you and you were breaking down an ad. I think a creative. That was pretty cool.
Thanks.
So, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's good. We're all trying to. I'm trying to do more on YouTube myself. So I've got my editor now. Well, actually, we were about to stop. I met up with Dakota Robertson, which is he's really well known on Twitter and Instagram. And I said to him, "Look, I'm trying to grow Twitter. I'm trying to grow Instagram." And he said to me, and this was just last week. He was like, "Look, just do one, focus on one." But then, as he said that, my editor was posting videos, and we were getting almost no views. And suddenly, like, we started getting like 500 views a video. So we got quite a few videos, 500 views on YouTube Shorts. So I was like, we've got quite a few clips edited, so let's post everything we've got and let's see how it goes. I've got content for the next 2 weeks or so that my editor's been putting together. So I want to see how that performs and then decide if I'm going to just focus on Twitter or but actually I think like having calls like these are really cool because we can at the end we both get content, we can put it out there or not, do whatever we want with it. So that's cool. Tell me a little bit about so you mentioned you're running ads right now for ecom brands, but I see you pushing a lot of ads to grow newsletters. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah. Also, I think a year ago I started my newsletter. Right now we've grown we grew this the portfolio of marketing newsletters. So we have actually three newsletters. One is creatives, one is Facebook ads, and one is copywriting. Just wanted to kind of separate the content a little bit into different newsletters. And so primarily we grew them with like using Facebook ads, and we also use Twitter is great, organic is really good. You get really good subscribers, high quality, but it's challenging to scale it. So if you want to really put some gas on fire and you have ways to monetize it, um, yeah, why not? So and we have some newsletter clients that we also help run ads for, and we've had good results. And it's it's a very interesting business because it's a media business. You sell ads, you sell products, and I think it really became popular with all these big case studies like The Hustle, Milk Road, Morning Brew, and then there's like Beehive and all these platforms that really made it possible to monetize and grow faster. So, and that's why right now I think the industry is like very in the early stages because you have so many different newsletters um,
Yeah.
popping up. So it's like the industry is reborn again, and it's funny because like newsletters been around for so long since like I don't know a long time. Richard Branson, I think he started
Yeah.
with a newsletter too, a newsletter student in I think 60s or 70s, and now he has like all a bunch of these companies. But then he pivoted. But
Wow.
it was just like very interesting to learn. And like the things that you said, you touched on, content across multiple platforms. Right now, I'm doing content across multiple platforms, and I feel like Twitter is good. All these platforms are good, and you obviously want to be where your audience is. but also long form platforms like even this podcast that we have right now is so much better than short form, as long as people listen to you, watch you, hear what you say, because the more time they spend with you, the better relationship they build with you, because they like build up these connections, create brain cells
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
associated with you. So
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think I always think back whenever I see one of your posts, because I think your content's really good and it's very target, like you hit the target really well. I think with your target audiences, because I have my newsletter. We don't have that many. We have, I think, about 1,000 people now, which is not that many. It's been really performant for me in terms of how it grows our educational side of the agency.
mhm,
I'm actually really happy with what we've done with the number of people we have. But I always think, how do I grow it more? And I don't want to be doing auto DMs all the time because there's also a risk of getting banned when you do stuff like that. But it just seems these days it's the fastest way to grow organically, at least on Twitter, I think. Are you, I guess, I mean, I think it's a really cool way of growing it. Are you finding that this is, in your opinion, like the best way to grow list these days by investing into Facebook ads, for example? Are you getting those quality leads in your list?
yeah, it really depends on your audience, on your ideal audience. So generally speaking, it's the bigger the market, and if you have ways to monetize it, ads is the best and the most scalable and the most predictable and controllable. But if you have a smaller B2B newsletter, or your audience is very niche and small, then that might be not the right fit. I mean, Facebook is good
Hmm.
at finding people overall, but it's still a challenge to get the right people in. So even if you're selling some educational product like an ebook or some sort of course,
Yeah.
you often still can get like wrong people buying that stuff. So it's even if you do the right things, like you really talk to your ideal audience and qualifying them in ads, which everybody who does any lead gen campaigns or like a book call or any newsletter campaigns should do, you
Yeah.
still get quite a few people that are just like curiosity, I guess, curiosity subscribers in this case. So these AI content platforms and algorithms, behind them. So Meta's and Instagram algorithms, they're not perfect. So like I get served a lot of ads that are not really um, like I'm not their ICP.
Yeah.
So if I'm curious, I would opt in and then go through their sales process. But I'm not their ICP, so that's kind of the challenge there. I think so. So I think generally speaking, as long as you talk to them and you give them something of value, and it's very valuable to the people within your audience, within your target audience, then you have the highest chances of getting the right subscribers.
Yeah.
Facebook ads is
That's
great. Twitter ads are I haven't played much with them, but Facebook ads is pretty good, especially if you have like broader business to employee type of newsletter, or B2C type of newsletter, and you have ways to
mhm.
monetize it.
Okay. And so things like, so I guess if there were any people watching this and they were considering doing Facebook ads to grow the newsletter, I mean, everyone knows Facebook ads. Well, sometimes it hits and misses. I mean, it's been about 2 years. I used to run a lot of ads for ecom, but I don't anymore. So I'm a little bit out of the game. But it's always been the most kind of predictable to a certain level, right? For a long time. What would you say, like, what kind of brands would be the best ones to come to you and say, hey, look, I just want a ton of people in my newsletter so I can sell them stuff, like with my newsletter, for example, I make an offer a day, and that's just how it is because I want everyone to always be used to, look, I'm not here to pretend like we're best friends. I'm here to provide some value, but I'm also going to make you an offer every day. You can opt in or not to that offer, right? So there's
Mhm.
always something, as sometimes really small. But let's say someone's trying to monetize, because everyone that will watch this wants to make money out of
Yeah,
whatever the newsletter is. What kind of people would be like, yeah, I can definitely make this work with ads?
yeah. Oh, they have to have some proof of concept organically, or through ads, or through other means, and they're all they have to have monetization in place, or just like a bunch of money, a long runway get
Yeah.
it working while we're growing the newsletter. So that's another option. But ideally, they have monetization in place. Maybe they've tried ads, they had some success, and now they just want to improve, lower the CPA, or scale it up. Um, and yeah, because and I think their audience needs to be more of like broader, not very specific. If it's like founders and CEOs, startups is still okay. There's a lot of small businesses on Facebook. Like for my market newsletter, I get like 50% of them are founders and CEOs, and at least that's what they say in surveys. And then the
Yeah.
other 50 is just marketing employees, or people just yeah, interested in marketing, maybe starting interested in starting something or running ads for some sort of side project. Yeah, so that's kind of how it goes. So I think yeah, somebody who has some proof of concept in terms of monetization,
Mhm.
and their audience is, I'd say, pretty broad.
And so, just to clarify for me there, so what you're saying is they've tried to sell something, their offer has been accepted by their existing list, people have made the purchase, it's been monetized, and the offer has been tested, right? So that if new people came in and then they're right, they've qualified and they've got all the boxes ticked, then there is a chance they'll purchase, right? You just need volume at that point.
Yeah, yeah. Purchases are like selling, monetizing just through some products within your newsletter is
Mhm.
is pretty. I mean, it's possible. It's just challenging. It might take some time. And you really got to bring the right people in. If you're trying to like use the newsletter to sell something and get the money back right away, you better just be selling that product. I'd say, and
Yeah.
maybe selling something like lower ticket, because the way I monetize and the way a lot of people monetize their newsletter is like they have all of those. So they have like ads, they might have some subscription, they might have some sort of community, and they might have some sort of co-registrations on the way in, and on the way out. So there's
Yeah.
you gotta have them all. You gotta maximize the lifetime value. So and as long as you provide value to the right people, they have money, and you solve their problem, you should be fine.
And so, what do you think is a good moment? Because, like, is our goal, obviously, our goal is not conversions directly, but as in sales, but our goal is to get them in, get them receiving all these newsletters, and eventually to take some kind of action, right? Maybe it's not today or tomorrow, but when do you define that it's like, the quality of the leads coming in aren't really great into the newsletter because it's been 2 months and nothing's happened with most of them, or does that not
Yeah,
happen?
I think 2 months, 1 month is a pretty good time frame. And you also, well, it depends where you're in your newsletter journey. So if you have like things figured out, you've sold some stuff through your newsletter. But it's also really tricky because like if you if you have proof of concept, selling to your audience that they're in your newsletter, but they actually discovered you through Twitter or some other organic channel. They've built relationship with you, and they're just like in your newsletter because they wanted to get more stuff from you. um, then it's good. It's very good. But is it gonna work with ads? Like you'd have to test, and maybe you'd have to have some more content. Just give them a lot of value and introduce yourself. Introduce your other channels like YouTube, so they're like in your ecosystem. Yeah. So I'd say like with ads, generally consumer or and B2, yeah, consumer newsletters work great as long as you know how to monetize. So like finance, AI, just like general business. Yeah, those things work, and marketing too. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds really good. I'll do a little shift here into, like, most people watching this will be agency focused. They're trying to, like, I share this in my communities, for example, and then also, YouTube and all those channels. But tell me a little bit about your agency. What does that look like? Because you said you do some e-com stuff. Tell me a little bit about the agency.
Sure. Yeah. I started an agency last year, but I've been doing this whole thing as a freelancer. I worked at product companies, as a CMO and media buyer, and at different agencies. So yeah, and like there's agencies that focus on one niche. Okay, we do like e-com or we do that, and so I have
Yeah,
like a lot of experience in different in different industries,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I'm also just very curious about all of those. So it's like, okay, are we gonna focus or not? Like e-com, or I think actually I tried at some point just like doing uh, e-com agency only for beauty brands, and that didn't really work out. So we just kind of started broad, and just because I've had the most experience in those industries, and so I just started, in those industries, and we've had really good results. We have case studies on our website. E-commerce is typically like we've had the best results for e-commerce because it's like you have very, if you have LTV and, well, actually no, if you have a high AOV and high gross profit margins, and you can get that you can get a lot of sales and you can get a lot of cash up front. That's very easy to grow, and you can like scale pretty much indefinitely as long as you know how to manage your inventory well. With newsletters and mobile apps, for example, that's still possible, but that's if you like a lot of newsletters that do ads, that sell ads, they have like LTV, and it's like spread out across multiple months, so you have that. Um and same with SaaS, same with mobile apps. So there you have this like cash conversion cycle that is not really favorable unless you have a lot of cash up front and you can invest, and things like same with e-commerce. Actually, if you have like subscription e-commerce or you have recurring sales, same thing basically. But yeah, but so far I think like that, just from the experience, we've had the best results with e-com. E-com's pretty scalable, and
Yeah. And how have you found like the last, I guess, well, firstly, I think what you're saying, I think the same also. I think that, like, our name's Ecom Advertisers. We actually started off running ads. And then I was like, I don't like this that much. So I moved away to email marketing. It just wasn't my thing. And some days I think, I don't know if email marketing is, but I enjoy it more, definitely. Like we do mostly ecom. I'd say 80-90% of our clients are ecom, and then we've got some, like recently we've had SaaS companies which
mhm.
I've really enjoyed working with. Had um, we've had really niche ones. Like we had one that goes after pharmaceuticals and things like that, and they wanted help doing all their emails and all that kind of stuff. That was really, like, I enjoy a lot of these one-time um, kind of projects. I thought those were pretty cool. Recurring clients sometimes can be a little bit of a headache, in my opinion. They're nice, but the money's nice. I like the new project aspect of it. Maybe it's the
I feel
novelty,
you. Yeah. I like
Yeah,
the novelty too. Yeah.
yeah, um, yeah. So I know what you're saying, and actually, I'm finding a lot of my agency friends, especially the ones that are doing really well. They're not tying themselves down to one thing. Like, some, and this goes against a lot of the advice that's going out there, but it's like they're doing, I have some friends doing, for example, local businesses. So like one of them runs Google Ads, and he's doing exceptionally well. He's in Canada, and
Mhm.
so he's like working with local businesses. He's working with e-com brands, and actually, what he said to me recently is that local businesses pay a lot better. There's a lot less competition, and they're a lot less of a headache as a client. And people, I think it's important to talk about the bad stuff, not just the good stuff, but he's like, I love this. So now I'm just going after local businesses. Everyone in my area is going after. And he's getting almost double the retainers that he was getting before, which makes it a very interesting thing. So it's like, it was funny because you said something in the beginning. It was like, you're talking about Richard Branson and how everyone was doing newsletters 20, like, I think they're at least 40 years old. But it's like something's come back a little bit because we're like talking about ecom, and it's like things change, but then they go back also a lot, right?
Yeah.
Because before people wanted to grow their local businesses, and they didn't know what to do.
Yeah, regarding this, like the agency stuff. So yeah, it's like everybody has their own path, and there's a lot of different advice on this business thing, and like definitely when you focus, when you really like have one niche, and it's duplicatable across different clients, it's delivers very easy. It's really like I'm almost productized, and as long as you have as long and sales process to those, and the industry is pretty big, so you have clients consistently, and you can grow. that's definitely a good position, and it's better than have be spread across all the industries. But I think it also depends on founders or agency, you know, CEO personality. If they're just
Yeah,
like, okay, I just want to, like, be have a very boring business, you know, just like duplicate the ads, duplicate everything across my clients,
yeah,
and that's great. And I think that's really easy to also sell. And if you want to sell an agency or delegate it, that's very easy, because like if you're growing something like we're growing, you that's like, yeah, you can. I mean, you can have a lot of swipes, a lot of templates, but it's still, you have to be very creative, and you have to hire very creative people. And it's all about just people at that point, because challenging to process, to put it into a process. So it's all about people, what have done, if they work with similar brands and things like that, and their mind. Yeah. So just like then it's just kind of like, okay, finding those people and maintaining those people. But yeah, definitely, like if you sell to local businesses, much easier. I mean, we haven't done it. But I know like some agency owners, my friends, they do it, and it's pretty nice.
yeah. Yeah, it's nice. I don't know. I've done that most of my time running the agency, trying to make everything a little bit duplicatable, and then add the add the I guess new designs, new visuals, the creativity, add that on top. And that's nice, but I don't know. It gets a little bit boring. I guess it's kind of. But yeah, I mean, you can make a lot of money and still find a way to make it fun. But I've been a really big fan of that in the last 6 months, and I'm like, I want to run my business my way. And so I think so much of the time we have this like influence from Twitter, from everywhere. It's like, you should do this, you should do that. Like, I personally hate meetings in general. Like, I like things like this,
Me
but I
too.
hate meetings with
Yeah.
clients. Right. And so I try not to have meetings at all in my agency with clients. Like, I have one client left that I do meetings with. That's the only one. And they're really persistent. But other than that, I do no meetings with anyone else. And if anyone new asks, I say we don't do regular meetings. Like, we can do one every once a month. You could, if you really need to, we can jump on a call. But I don't allow recurring meetings because
Yeah,
of
ad
that.
hoc, right? Like you have an option to book one, maybe like once or twice a week. My friend does it, and that's what actually we've shifted to, for
Okay,
most clients. Like just ad hoc. Yeah, you have a meeting link. Feel free to book if we need to. If we don't need to, we don't have to. That's been very helpful and useful, because in the past I've done quite a bit of meetings, and they've been just kind of like, yeah, could have been an email. So
that's it. Yeah,
yeah.
could have been an email, could have been a message. But it's like some people are like, I want to talk. I want to talk for a little bit. Let's chat. I find it's mostly the older school clients. The younger ones are like, we'll talk. Like, I have a client that's been with us for 2 years, and they've been buying a ton of brands, so they're sending more clients to us. They're sending their own brands towards us, like, for
Mhm,
us to manage. But we have a call every 3 months, a Slack message a week or two. We do reporting, obviously.
mhm.
And it's like the nicest conversation ever. We talk about business every few months. Life's easy. I don't worry about anything. He's very chilled out. That for me is like the perfect client. But obviously, not everyone can be like that. But everything gets done. He makes a ton of revenue. We've got really good return on investment for him. He obviously sees the reports. But it's like, then you have got some clients where they want to know everything about everything. They want to be involved in the small details. But it's our job to manage that, right? You
Yeah,
know,
for sure. Yeah, typically people with that are busy with stuff. They don't want those meetings either.
I believe that's true. Yeah.
As long as you're performing well, as long as yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So tell me a little bit about you in your agency. What does it look like in terms of, like, what are what are some of the things? Well, firstly, why did you decide to move towards an agency? Were you looking for some more autonomy? Were you looking for more freedom? What? Because a lot of new people, well, a lot of people I know are like one or two clients in, especially in my community that will watch this. They're one or two clients in. They're like, I don't think the agency is for everyone,
Hmm.
because people see the really positive stuff on Twitter. It feels like a dream, but you will be up. At least my experience, I stayed up so many nights in the first year, stressed about different things, and I
Yeah.
hate like at times I hate it, right? But at times I really like it because I don't have to go into an office. I don't have to. I can do whatever I want most of the time, right? I don't know if it's the same to you, but tell me a little bit about that. What's it like for you, the whole agency, and then why did you get into this?
Yeah, I got into this. I got into the agency. So I was working at a product company, and it was just like pretty much one product, so not much variance. And I like difference. I like variance. I just work in multiple projects and clients. At least have the contribution to or ability to like have to say something for the team. Like, hey team, let's test this at copy. Let's test this at creative. So that's what I wanted to have, and also obviously like autonomy and just having the ability to find and hire and source like great people, and build the culture or build a great team of killers. And right now our team is pretty small. I think it's like 4 5 people. So we're still growing, and yeah, I think that's the primary reason. So I wanted more variance, and I wanted to have some say in terms of like, okay, let's test this, but not necessarily be in the trenches that much, or at least have an ability to not to have to do that. Yeah. So but the early days, yeah, they were like pretty challenging. I mean, I think it's a lot of it is about perception, how you perceive things.
Yeah.
And things might be going pretty well, but like if you like set aggressive targets, and you're like, oh, I'm like it's like falling apart. It's yeah, like I've shifted my perspective a lot over the last few months, and it's really nice. No matter what happens, it's always good, it's always great, and it's always fun, and we'll figure out everything, and we'll deliver results that we promise, and we're doing it, and it's all like comes into reality. So I think it's a lot about how we perceive some situations, the cards that we
Tell me a little bit about that. Like, I 100% agree with you, and I can think about a few situations. But tell me a little bit about like something that would have been the end of the world, maybe in your first like few months, and then right about now. Can you think of anything?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like so for example, we had this client, and they're a solopreneur, and so great client, great guy, but they've kind of like been hopping from agency to agency, which is, I think it's a potentially a good idea. Maybe not like ending relationship, but like split testing agencies. But I think they're like, yeah, let's just hop to a different agency and stuff. So, but they were like, they're great client, and we built a great relationship over almost a year, well, half a year or 6 months or something working together. But they wanted to like just try different agencies, so they paused our subscription, and we were like, great, we have room for a bigger client now. And yeah, and less work, so more room for a bigger client and less work. So that's kind of, you could perceive it as like, oh damn, client left, like, oh my god, what are we gonna do?
Yeah,
She
yeah,
was like, yeah, room for a bigger client, great, nice. So that's that's one way to look at things.
yeah. And you could shift anything. I agree. I really like that you said that because I understand 100% what you like. When I started hiring people, when we started having a team, I was like so stressed out about salaries and things like that. I was like, what if we can't pay it? What if something goes wrong? And I used to not sleep some nights.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then things start to, like, when you're in the same situation, it's like, I always think the person that's had a near death experience, after that everything is like, yeah, it's fine, it'll be fine. They've nearly died, so it's
Yeah.
gotten as bad as it can get.
Yeah, I used to think that way too, because I've had like maybe two like near death, and I
Oh
think
wow.
they didn't help me. Like it was still pretty stressful after that. Like even the experience that were not near death, so had like anxiety and stuff for like a few months and things like that. I was like hoping that those near death experiences are gonna help, but they didn't help.
They didn't.
No, yeah,
Okay.
it's, I don't know, like working on your mind, and just like that helped a lot.
Yeah, I like this a lot, and you touch on something I want to go back to, but I guess we'll leave the near death experience thing because you've been there, I've not. But if we think about like when you deal with something the first time, often it's like, oh, fuck, that sucks, or I really hate that, or a big client left, or. But I love how you were like, actually, yeah, they paused. Like I had a client asked to pause. I think it was last week, and we used to say yes to this last year, but I said we don't do pauses. So it's like you're in or you're out, which is a little bit extreme, but I
Mm-hmm.
like that because I like not having that thing, that that loop open in my mind,
Mm-hmm.
which is something I learned from J.K. Molina, which is like next week, come is he coming back or is he coming back the week after that?
Mm-hmm.
Next thing you know, 2 3 months pass, and most of the time, at least in my experience, they don't come back. They ask for it because something happened or their ad account got banned, which is something we don't control. And the front end revenue is completely dead, which means their email marketing is going to be dead after that. So, like 9 out of 10 times, not that I've had 9 people leave, pause, but I think 9 out of 10 times people say pause, but actually means end. So it means, like for me, I'd rather go, okay, we'll close that there. Let's find someone new, put them back
Yeah.
in, which I like that. I like that personally. It's just a preference.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I said pause, but like, I mean, it's like cancel.
Ah,
So,
okay,
yeah, I mean, they also said pause. And once they come back, we'll just say, okay, we like raise the price because we did. So it's going to be just different price.
cool. And tell me a little bit about. I always like to know what people are doing, and I always like to share what I'm doing as well. One of the things we started doing recently is cap the number of clients that we let in. So we had
Hmm.
last year we had 11 people working for us in total, and I realized that I had massive inefficiencies, and so 11 became 7 or 8, and now this year we're down to 5 people. And I've done that very purposefully because I realized we didn't need that many people to service. We had up to 20 clients last year, and now we're down to 15.
Hmm.
And I actually, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to keep to 15 clients. Um, there's a few other strategies around that, but I'm trying to stick to 15 clients. I don't want to grow the agency too much because I also have the educational side of the business,
Hmm.
and I really want to focus on that alongside it. Tell me a little bit about, do you have any kind of limits, the number of people you allow in? How do you deal with, because sometimes you could have 5 clients interested in one month. How do you deal with like making sure you still do a good job?
Yeah.
um,
Yeah. Well, wait lists are great. You can just say, we can put you on a wait list. And once we have room, like either we hire more people or
mhm,
we cancel like collaboration with the client or something like that. Mostly, I guess, like hire more people or we grow. So I think waitlist is great, and we've
uh-huh,
done that. I don't know if it worked, but I think I still believe in that. So I just need a little bit more time. But yeah, we also limit number of clients, and right now we haven't reached the limit. um
mhm.
yeah, but it's, I think it's like you maybe optimize the processes, make things more efficient, and then you free up team space, have templates and have all these things, and then you can either add more clients or just, create another team. But that's in a pot in a, like, I worked in an agency, and we've done that. It's like it's all about people, I guess. At that point, like if you wanted to grow an agency, if you want to like create more teams, just really gotta hire people and vet them and have them work for a little bit before like you give them a different team to manage and things like that. But yeah, right now we're pretty much capped at how many clients we can get, and once we're really capped, and we've been actually raising prices too. So raising prices and not letting in smaller clients. So
Mhm.
that's kind of how right now we're controlling it. But maybe at some point we'll just do like a wait list. It's like, hey, wait list. Yeah, we can work together, but right now we don't have capacity, so we can reach out when we have capacity. That's what
That's
I
cool.
think the plan is. What about
Yeah,
you?
that's
So
that's
you have
cool.
it capped, right? At
Yeah, we have a cap at 15, but actually one of the things, well, we had 15, but we actually one client left last week and the pause one.
Great, more room for
Yeah.
a bigger client.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. He was one of our first ones too, so he was with us for like, and also it was a bad offer. We were doing a performance only. So last
Mhm.
year we did like, I was saying performance only to everyone, which was a terrible idea. And I would say out of maybe 7 clients we offered performance only to, only one stayed because all the other ones we just we were making the money was too variable. So some months could be amazing, some could be terrible. So we stopped doing that and just did
Mm,
fixed retainers instead. But he was the last client out of all of them, and yeah, it just didn't make sense to work together anymore. But yeah, I think the raising prices is something I'm doing as well. I've done that a few times, even to existing clients. I've raised prices too,
mm,
and that's always a little bit more challenging, obviously, than when you get new clients. But it has worked pretty well. Like, I don't know. I think it's difficult to get to a point where you're like, oh, I'm super happy with prices, but we're getting there. I think we've got a few clients we still want to push up a little bit, but sometimes you have this challenge where a client's really easygoing. They're really nice. They're less work than maybe another client. And so I try to keep that balance. Like, if a client's a lot of work and they kind of start to break your workflows,
mm.
that's when I'm keen to increase prices. I don't know if you thought anything about that.
Yeah, we haven't increased prices yet, like on our current clients, and it's mostly just like a psychological barrier. And I
Yeah.
know it's possible, like a lot of people, a lot of agencies done it. So we're gonna do it at some point. Yeah. What was gonna say? Yeah. So I mean, I think it's like you either have like some clients come in with bigger budgets, or you raise on your existing clients. So you can say it's like, well, we have a wait list, and I mean, yeah, like you can always try, and they say no, and it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tricky. Yeah. You've got to be really careful with words, at least in my experience. I'm always like really careful about how I say it because obviously, but normally if you give good return on investment,
Yeah.
you can say that, then it
Exactly. Yeah,
should
that's what I was gonna say.
should be
Like
fine.
if you provide like a lot of value and you want to increase prices, like there should be no problem with that. So there should be, you know, they'd be like, oh, why didn't you raise prices
Yeah.
earlier? Yeah.
Yeah. You'll feel bad too if they leave. That's happened to me where
Mm,
someone leaves and I'm like, it happened actually. We had a client that was really picky about copywriting. So we found a very dedicated, a very specific copywriter. We hired them to work with that client, which really hit our margin. They actually paid
mm,
us reasonably well, but it took a chunk of our margin. We're like,
mm,
we're gonna make sure he's happy, blah blah. Blah. And then a month afterwards, he was like, "Hey, we're really struggling with stock. I had to fire some of my team. We're going to pause the service." Which again, I said, "Look, we don't do pauses. Sorry."
mm,
And he left, but we were making like maybe almost nothing from working with that client, and I'd put all this effort. So I think it's one of those things that if you don't do it, eventually you will regret it. But yeah, because your team will be working really hard, and you want to make sure you get that, like the ROI for you as well, right? We think so much about return on investment for client, but what about for us, right? That
yeah.
has to make sense.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Did you hire them like a copywriter, like full time or part time, or was it like
Part
contract?
time,
Part time. Okay.
part time, yeah.
Yeah,
But it
it's
was,
always challenging when you like hire a role just for client,
yeah.
and it doesn't work out. Yeah, yeah, and like with having different niches and different clients and different niches, it's better to have copywriters in all of those because they're all
Hmm.
like very different. So I think that's what we're selling right now. Like one of the
Okay,
things.
yeah. So in terms of, I guess, going back a little bit to your process at your agency, what
Mhm.
what does it look like when you start working with someone? So let's say someone reaches out. I guess I haven't asked this. This is a quick
Mhm.
pre-question to that. How do you normally get clients? Is Twitter your main method of acquisition? Is ads? What do you do?
Yeah, Twitter and cold email. I think those, well, maybe LinkedIn a little bit, and
Hmm.
also Fiverr. There's Fiverr too. So I think Twitter so far been the best, and then there's
Cool.
Fiverr and cold email, and we're like testing out a bunch of different channels right now. Yeah, and also, well, yeah, some masterminds or like communities. So it's kind of all over the place, but Twitter's been so far pretty good.
Cool. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be doing YouTube. Well, you're doing YouTube already, and YouTube, like I know some YouTube is like it looks like it's pretty decent in terms of getting clients. Just from what I've seen in the industry. because yeah, again, people watch a lot of your content and build like really good relationship with you. So
Yeah,
just in
definitely.
general.
Yeah, I'm thinking. Yeah, I mean, for me, mostly it's cold email. Yeah, mostly cold email. It's been most of my agency cold email, and referrals has done like all of it basically. I had a few leads from Twitter, but nothing ever made sense in terms of like our pricing didn't make
Hmm.
sense. It was more kind of lower pricing, so that I didn't get any clients off Twitter. I'm going all in on social media around. I'm actually trying to do a mix of my educational stuff, and then also because the thing that I really enjoy is I've been thinking a lot about this recently. I like email marketing, but what I love is like the scaling of the agency, making everything more efficient. Because my background is software, I did it for like 10 years, and so I like the structure of an agency and like scaling up and down. I like sales a lot also. That's kind of the thing. So I'm trying to focus more on just doing the stuff that I like and then seeing what comes back, because I have a feeling that in 6 months my educational stuff will be side by side with the agency in terms of revenue, and that will be a really nice moment, to then maybe put someone managing the agency, and then I go all in. Well, maybe not all in, maybe 70% in on the educational stuff. That would be cool, but maybe not. We'll see how things go. But yeah, I'm focusing on Twitter. I'm doing threads, mostly reposting what's on Twitter. Threads is working for quite a few people in terms of growth. It's been
Mm.
quite good. I don't know about getting the right leads yet, but I think they've gotten a lot more users than they did initially. I'm doing basically everything except for TikTok right now.
Threads, like Threads,
Threads.net, Facebook's
oh,
Threads.
and is working good for you in terms of leads or content or just like feature?
No, in terms of leads, I don't. Well, someone I was talking to said it's working well for him in terms of leads.
Oh wow.
He said all he's doing is reposting. You can repost anything you post on YouTube
Mm.
into Threads, because Threads came out. You know what I mean? Like Facebook's Threads,
Yeah, yeah,
competitor of
yeah.
Twitter, right? But it tanked initially, but now it seems to be going in the right direction.
Mm.
I don't know if that's true or not, but a lot of the people I respect very heavily are using it.
Wow.
And so I think reposting, even if you use something like, do you use Hype Fury?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can. If you schedule something from there, you can just tick the threads
Mm.
box now, and it auto posts it, so
Oh,
you don't
nice.
have to think about it. Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah. So I would recommend that, because some on Twitter, for example, I don't get too into this, but a lot of people complain about the algorithm not being as generous as it used to be.
Mm.
But Threads, I saw someone last week that I know got 100K views or impressions on one of his, and he didn't do anything too special. So I think there's like LinkedIn. People this year have been talking a lot about LinkedIn being like the place to blow up. I don't know. Has LinkedIn worked well for you?
No, I mean it's decent. It's like some extra reach. They rolled out this like shorts, right, on LinkedIn, and
I don't know.
yeah, not everybody has that feature yet, so I don't have it. Some people have it, and it's like at the bottom. It's a different. It's basically like Instagram Reels, or yeah,
Nice.
Reels or short YouTube Shorts, but on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I don't have it yet in my on my LinkedIn app, but some people do, and they said that it's been really good in terms of
Oh,
reach and everything. So I mean, I think well, they'll test it and see how it performs, and I guess at some point, if it does perform well, they'll roll out to everybody. But yeah, LinkedIn. I mean, it's good for extra. Definitely good for credibility because like people look you up,
yeah.
and you can also like add people on. So you have a lead come in, and you can like add them on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube.
That's
Send
cool.
them a direct mail, go to their door, knock. Hey, we got a call tomorrow. Yeah.
And they still don't show up.
They still don't show up. Exactly. Yeah. So that's good for extra reach. But yeah, I do like, I create content primarily on Twitter and then just kind of repurpose it on other platforms. Don't know how much it works. I don't think it works that well, but at least it gives some extra reach, and like some people like, people like different people like those content on, like that content on different platforms. So
Yeah.
so yeah, even like TikTok, there's some stuff there too. So
Nice.
yeah, because I've seen like in my space, for example, like Facebook ads, there's like content creators on Instagram and they doing well, on Twitter they're doing well, on TikTok doing well, on YouTube doing well, on LinkedIn doing well. So it's like just like pick your
Yeah.
platform or like test a bunch of platforms, see what works best, and just kind of do that. So that's
Yeah.
where I'm at. Just kind of like spreading across different platforms, and then at some point I might focus, I might not focus on one platform, because yeah, it's
Yeah.
I feels good to be present on all platforms. Like one account gets shut down, and also plus this podcast. I don't know if it's gonna go on some Apple Podcasts, but
Yeah. Well.
also yeah, great. And then email, newsletters. So like with email newsletters, they're really great because you actually kind of own your audience, right? You have much better reach if you have 50,000 followers on let's say Twitter, or let's say 10%, 10,000 followers on Twitter. Only maybe it's like 10% they're gonna see the content, so it's like, or even less. So you're gonna see,
Yeah.
1,000 people are gonna see your content, and if you post as well, maybe three, five. But if you have them on your email list, it's gonna be maybe three to 4,000 people, and they're gonna see it. I think even after the iOS like open rates,
Yeah.
so automatic open rates, because yeah, depending how engaged your list is, but like it's like 3x or 4x better in terms of reach. So plus they kind of have
Wow.
less distractions in the email. So
Yeah.
like I read some newsletters, and I think the newsletters are pretty great. Yeah, as long as you like write content that's like, maybe write it yourself and you really deliver value, and you know um, that has much better reach than any other social platforms.
Yeah.
But,
Cool. And then I guess to start wrapping things up, what we talked a little bit about some of the good potential businesses that could work with you in terms of
mm,
growing their newsletter, scaling their business. Because I think that's the main thing a lot of people are looking for, right? That's what I was thinking when I was reading your post: is predictability in
yeah,
growth, right? Because it's all, let's say you've got a 500 people newsletter, but you've got like a main business that's making enough money, and you think, well, I
hello.
really want to grow my personal brand. I really want to have a good list to make money from, or to whatever. You just want to grow the list, get a really good following, as you said a few times today, that have a relationship with you, because that's what always ends up happening. They're like, like people like you from that. So who do you think is like, you think I can definitely grow your business? Like what type of people? Because some people watching this are kind of agency owners, some people will be doing other things, some are freelancers, some maybe influencers. We got a few clients that are influencers. Who do you think is like your ideal person? You're like, I can scale them up, I can help them grow. We just need to get the right creatives, the right ads, the right copy, test things out.
Yeah, I'd say like in ideal case they have over maybe 20, 30,000 subscribers already. They've been doing it for quite a while. They've found ways to monetize their newsletter, and their audience is pretty broad.
Cool.
Yeah, we can
And what,
look into this. Yeah.
yeah, and that makes sense. And then I guess the growth is always dependent on what the budget looks like on the ad spend, right?
Yeah, budget, and also how much you can afford to spend per customer, per subscriber.
Yeah.
So you know as you scale, typically your CPA goes up. You can obviously like optimize, test new different creatives, different offers, all that sort of stuff. But your scale is limited by your audience, by the size of I guess addressable market, or market that are gonna be able to buy. Because like there's addressable market, and there's people that are like they want a solution, and out of those people that want a solution that you're providing, only some percentage of them will actually buy. So the scale is limited by that, and also if the market is like has people coming in, or is just kind of like maybe declining. So And yeah, so there's a lot of variables you can see, right? And there's economics, how good is your back in economics, and how much you can afford to spend.
Cool. I like that. That's really cool. Okay. Thanks, Andy. This has been really cool. A final thing, where can people reach you if they want to grow their newsletter or even just following your tweets because they're pretty good. I haven't
Thank you.
followed you elsewhere, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. It's the Andy Austin ads, or just YouTube Andy Austin, or LinkedIn Andy Austin, or at Sora.com.